Thanks for joining us this evening on TKO8 Local News. A Harrison woman is in the Boone County Jail on suspicion of stabbing her ex-husband. According to Boone County Sheriff Mike Moore, 64-year-old Annette Goulet is charged with criminal attempt to commit capital murder. Sheriff Moore says he and his deputies responded Wednesday to a reported stabbing north of Harrison. When they arrived, they learned 66-year-old Greg Goulet of Harrison had multiple stab wounds. He was flown to an area hospital and underwent surgery for his wounds and is now in stable condition. 2 witnesses were present during the attack. According to Sheriff Moore, the witnesses intervened, disarmed Annette Goulet, and provided first aid to Craig Goulet until deputies arrived. Annette Goulet was arrested but released on a $150,000 bond. A Boone County man was arrested on suspicion of sexually assaulting 2 underage females. According to Boone County Sheriff Mike Moore, 55-year-old Timmy Ray Tilley is charged with rape, sexual indecency with a child, and second-degree sexual assault. Sheriff Moore says his department received a report July 1st of a 14-year-old female allegedly having been sexually assaulted at a residence on Crane Court in Cottonwood. During the investigation, a second juvenile female victim was also identified. Tilley was booked into the Boone County Jail and later released on a $100,000 bond. He must wear a GPS ankle monitor and have no contact with any of the victims. Another Boone County man is in the Boone County Jail on suspicion of rape. According to Sheriff Mike Moore, 37-year-old Michael D. Hill is charged with rape involving sexual contact with a person incapable of consent due to mental defect. Sheriff Moore says his department was notified August 3rd of a 19-year-old female in the emergency room at North Arkansas Regional Medical Center in Harrison reporting she had been raped. According to the sheriff, the crime was reported to have occurred at a residence in Bellefonte. Hill's bond is set at $50,000, and he's ordered to have no contact with the alleged victim if he does post bond. Michael Haddock of South Haven, Mississippi, entered a guilty plea and was sentenced to 5 years in prison with 5 years of probation to negligent homicide in connection with the death of a 26-year-old Big Flat resident. Brady Lynn Honeycutt, back in May of this year, it happened. Investigators determined an extremely intoxicated Haddock had been driving the vehicle, which had run over the victim, causing her to be trapped underneath the car. Haddock said he had been visiting the Honeycutt residence and they had been drinking heavily. He said he left the residence with Honeycutt and her husband Daniel, but mistakenly ran over her when he thought she was in the back seat. Haddock told investigators that his extreme level of intoxication was to blame for his lack of ability to provide complete and clear details of the incident. A search for a Baxter County resident has led to the arrest of 2 individuals. William Joshua Lewis of Gassville, Sarah Marie Lynn of Norfolk are both in the Baxter County Detention Center on several charges. According to Baxter County Sheriff John Montgomery, investigators were searching for Lewis on an outstanding felony drug warrant. The warrant was obtained by the Norfolk Police Department after it discovered methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia in a vehicle Lewis was a passenger in during a vehicle stop in Norfolk during the past few weeks. When Lewis and Lynn were taken into custody, officers searched the residence and found 15 prescription pills and multiple smoking devices containing methamphetamine residue. Lewis and Lynn are being held without bond in the Baxter County Detention Facility. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We'll take a look at some headline news from around the region. But first, here's this week's closing livestock report from Sammy Klein, brought to you by Quality Feed Grains of Harrison and Bellefonte.
This is Sammy Klein, Federal State Livestock Market News Service, reporting sales of North Arkansas livestock auction in Green Forest for Wednesday, August 10th. Gather receipts, 1,046. Last week, 496. Year ago, 391. Compared to last week, feeder steers $2 to $6 higher. Feeder heifers $3 to $8 higher. Feeder bulls steady to $4 higher. Slaughter cows steady to weak. Slaughter bulls steady. Feeder steers, medium large ones, 3 to 400 pounds, 190 to 204. 4 to 500 pounds, 161 to 182. 5 to 600 pounds, 150 to 160. 6 to 700 pounds, 146 to 150. 50. 7 to 750 pounds, 138 to 145. 8 to 900 pounds, a few at 135 to 137. Has some loads at 7 to 750 pound cattle, bring 154 and a quarter to 155 and a quarter. Feeder heifers, medium large ones, 3 to 400 pounds, 152 to 165. 4 to 500 pounds, 143 to 160. 5 to 600 pounds, 132 to 151. 6 to 700 pounds, 132 to 140. A few 700 pounds at 133 to 137.50. Replacement cows, medium large ones and 2 to 7-year-old, 900 to 1,300 pounds second stage, 1,100 to 1,300 per head. Some 7 to 10-year-old cows, second and third stage, 850 to 1,285 per head. Cow calf pairs, medium large ones and 2. At two older cows, weighing 1,500 pounds with a 100 to 250 pound head, is out of 1,550 per pair. Slaughter cows, boners, 70 to 76. High dress, 77 to 84.50. Lean, 67 to 75. High dress, 75 to 83. Low dress, 62 to 66. Slaughter bulls, grade 1s and 2s, 1,100 pounds, 90 to 97. High dress, 101 to 108. That's Mark today. Sammy Klein reporting. Thank you.
Saving you money is what they do best at Edwards Grocery, and this week's specials really do that. Selected varieties, Michelinas or Zappas frozen entrees, only 79 cents. Whole fryers, only 79 cents per pound. USDA ground beef, only $1.59 per pound of the family pack. Extra large seedless California green or red grapes, only 99 cents per pound. And best choice hardwood or mesquite charcoal briquettes, only $3.99 in the 20-pound pack.
Edwards Grocery Station money.
Sam Alexander Pharmacy has expanded and is now offering many additional products and services. Their new pharmaceutical compounding area allows them to create products to fit the unique needs of a customer. They also have added Spinco orthotic shoes and sandals, Dr. Comfort diabetic shoes, baby gifts by Aiden and Ananias, and toys by Melissa and Doug. Stop in today and let them help you with any of your specialty pharmaceutical needs. Sam Alexander Pharmacy, your local Health Mart pharmacy in Harrison.
Funeral arrangements have been set for a deputy who was killed while responding to a disturbance call at a rural West Arkansas home. The Sebastian County Sheriff's Office said a funeral for Deputy Bill Cooper will be held Tuesday at Community Bible Church in Fort Smith. Cooper died Wednesday after he was shot while responding to a home near Hackett. Hackett Police Chief Darrell Spells was also wounded. Police say the suspect, Billy Monroe Jones, wanted to cause a ruckus ahead of his court hearing. Arkansas State Police say 4 people have been killed in 2 separate crashes on Arkansas roads, including 3 in a collision near Blytheville. Police say 76-year-old Robert Davis, 64-year-old Della Stringer, and 30-year-old Tristan Johnson, all of Blytheville, died when a sanitation truck overturned onto the vehicle they were in on Highway 61 on Wednesday. A police report says the 3 were northbound when the northbound truck crossed the center line and overturned onto their vehicle. The second fatality occurred in Springdale, where 31-year-old Kimberly Martin died in an accident involving a moped. The police report says Martin was southbound on a city street when the moped she was riding went off the roadway and crashed into a culvert. An animal rights group has released an undercover video that shows Tyson's Foods workers abusing and improperly killing chickens at various breeding facilities in the state of Virginia. The video prompted the Arkansas firm to announce Thursday that it fired the workers for failing to follow company policies and would aggressively re-emphasize its animal welfare protocols to current workers. The company also said it would end a practice that involves inserting plastic into chickens' beaks to control how much they eat. One of 3 Arkansas State University students who went missing inside of a cave said they kept warm overnight by staying close. Casey Sherwood says that they also regularly shouted for help when they realized they were lost. The 25-year-old Sherwood man and 2 Japanese students were rescued Thursday. Sherwood said he felt a little bit of panic when he realized that they were really lost. The 3 decided to stay in place to not get lost further and said the 3 used their body heat to keep warm. Sherwood's wife had reported the 3 missing on Wednesday night. The Arkansas Democratic Party says it expects to get documents it requested about flawed voter registration that it says Secretary of State Mark Martin's office previously refused to release. Democrats requested correspondence between the Secretary of State's office and the Arkansas Crime Information Center and will get it due to the State Attorney General's intervention. Martin's election division entered flawed data about felons into the database that county clerks use to determine which voters should be removed from the voter registration rolls. The data included felons who had regained the right to vote and people who have never been convicted of a felony. A spokesperson for Martin declined comment. Before we look at the changing weather forecast as we head into the weekend, here's the way the stock market ended the week. The National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning for the viewing area from 7 a.m. on Saturday morning until 7 a.m. on Monday morning. A huge frontal system to the west expected to move through the area tonight and throughout the weekend, with rainfall expected in the overnight hours in most of our viewing area, 1 to 2 inches possible. So flash flooding, because of the saturated ground we already have, is a major issue and should be certainly watched as this rain moves through the area. Well, it's going to cool down once this frontal boundary does go through the area, and you'll see those temperatures about 20 degrees to 18 degrees less than we've had to deal with over the last several weeks. It was a hot one today, though. The temperature out there about 93 degrees with 60% humidity, heat index at 100 degrees. Here's the way it looks for tomorrow, Saturday, a whole different ball game out there. Thunderstorms in the area as the system gets closer. 80 degrees for a daytime high, 80% chance of rainfall. And then on Sunday, thunderstorms continuing, much cooler. 74 degrees, 80% chance of rain. Likewise, on Monday, we kick off the work week, 73 degrees, 90% chance of rainfall. Tuesday, the same, 76 with 90% chance of thunderstorms. And then on Wednesday, a little bit less, warming up to 80 degrees, afternoon thunderstorms, and only a 50% chance. But we're definitely in a rainy period for the next 4 to 7 days, depending on how slow this system moves across the Central Plains. Same system that is pulling moisture up off the Gulf of Mexico, causing tremendous flooding in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and the Panhandle of Florida. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We'll take a look at sports from around the region as TKO8 News continues.
North Arkansas College cares. Did you know they have a food pantry for students, tutoring services, financial and career coaching, and a career clothing closet? And North Arc's tuition is one of the lowest in the state. Enroll this fall and get the support you need. Exciting faculty, small classes, and affordable tuition are all examples that show students North Arc cares.
Open enrollment now through August 12th. Classes begin August 15th. See the full class schedule at northarc.edu or speak with an advisor, 870-391-3505.
Danny Duffy pitched his first complete game to win his 8th straight decision. Chelsea Earl Cutworth had 2 hits and drove in a run, and the Kansas City Royals beat the Chicago White Sox 2-1 on Thursday night. Duffy limited the White Sox to 7 singles, struck out 6, and walked none. He has not lost since June the 6th and has a 1.73 ERA in his past 5 starts. Duffy threw 98 pitches, 71 strikes. Cutworth tripled home Jared Dyson in the 6th, and his second among American League rookies with 93 hits, 24 multi-hit games, and a .303 batting average. Dyson was initially called out trying to steal second, but the Royals appealed the call and it was overturned. Cutworth then scored the go-ahead run on Eric Hosmer's single off of Carson Fulmer. Anthony Rizzo drew a bases-loaded walk from Zach Duke with 2 outs in the 11th inning, and the Chicago Cubbies beat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-3 on Thursday night for their 10th consecutive win. Pinch hitters Wilson Contreras and Georgie Salo led off the singles against the lefty Duke, and Dexter Fowler walked to load the bases with 1 out. Chris Bryant struck out before Rizzo took a 3-1 pitch inside to give the Cubs their longest winning streak since getting 12 straight back in 2001. Mike Montgomery allowed a single, 2 walks to load the bases in the 11th before striking out Matt Carpenter to end the threat. He won his first game for Chicago since being acquired from Seattle last month. The Cardinals fell 13 games behind Chicago in the National League Central Division and lost Matt Holliday in the 10th after he was hit on the right hand by Mike Montgomery's 94-mile-per-hour fastball. Speaking of the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals have placed first baseman Matt Adams on the 15-day disabled list and recalled outfielder Randall Goodrick from AAA Memphis. Adams was scratched from the Cardinals lineup before Wednesday's game against Cincinnati with left shoulder inflammation. Adams is hitting .249 with 12 home runs, 44 RBIs in 95 games, including going 10 for 26 as a pinch hitter. The 24-year-old Goodrick is hitting .213 in 84 games with the Cardinals this season. Mark Sanchez made a strong opening argument for the Denver Broncos starting quarterback job, throwing for 99 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter, and the defending Super Bowl champions beat the Chicago Bears 22-0 in a preseason opener on Thursday night. He completed 10 of 13 passes in the first quarter and led a game-opening 76-yard touchdown drive. He was intercepted by Gerald Freeman on the Broncos' second possession. Sanchez maintained his cool against Chicago's pressure and kept the opening drive going by completing 3 third-down passes, including a 32-yard touchdown to wide-open Demaryius Thomas along the right side. Andre Loop topped the John Deere Classic leaderboard at 8 under Thursday when the first-round play was suspended because of darkness at rain-soaked TPC Deere Run. The 27-year-old former LSU player was facing a 6-foot par putt on the par 4 15th hole when play was called for daylight. The tournament was delayed for 3.5 hours by a huge storm that dropped over an inch of rain in the area. The round resumed at 3 p.m. with none of the afternoon starters able to finish. Lupe had 5 birdies in a 7-hole stretch in the front 9 and added birdies on the 11th, 13th, and 14th hole. Well, that wraps up our broadcast here for this evening. Thanks for joining us. Join us Monday through Friday at 6:30 and again at 10 p.m. as we continue to bring you local news, weather, sports, and local announcements from around the area on Harrison's broadcast station, TKO Channel 8. Now stay tuned for more local events around the viewing area. Don't forget about that flash flood warning that we have in effect from 7 a.m. Saturday morning until 7 a.m. on Monday morning. Heavy rain expected in the area over the next several days, so please be careful if you're out there, particularly crossing any low water bridges.
KTKO Channel 8 Harrison. Local television worth watching.